Parent guideline number 6 is catch them doing things right. That's both for them as well as for our own sense of confidence. This is often surprisingly challenging with teenagers, but it's surprisingly important. The key for parents is being very conscious and very intentional. Teenagers often behave in ways that naturally elicit negative feedback. Some of that is them and some of that is us, particularly when our fears are in play and we're alert for problems. And being the parent of a teenager often has a lot of fear naturally lurking in the background because our primary focus is protecting them on a long, tough journey. That's just naturally central to the challenge in parenting a teenager. Catching our teenager doing things right gives us a chance to ensure that the feedback they get from us is balanced. It's important to remember that there are basically 3 kinds of feedback. There's negative feedback, there's positive feedback, and there's no feedback. No feedback is the worst because it means no connection and provides no guidance at all. At best, it leaves our teenager wondering, and we really don't want that. Negative feedback basically means, no, not good, don't do that. It definitely has its place, but it should be intentional and not reactive. Our desire to protect our teenagers from harm or from going too far down the wrong path will naturally generate plenty of negative feedback because they are going to give us plenty of opportunities to deliver that kind of feedback. The trick in keeping negative feedback healthy is to be aware of it and what's driving it, and then be intentional about how we deliver it. Where the greatest opportunity is for us as parents is in the realm of positive feedback, catching them doing things right. Positive feedback basically means, yes, good, do that. It's designed to reinforce the behavior and generate more of it, which is surprisingly important. It can also communicate acceptance, approval, and affirmation, as well as help our teenager feel more confident, motivated, and engaged. It builds on strength, increases healthy independence, and positive feedback tends to highlight opportunities versus problems, which is far more important for teenagers than it sounds. It's the most powerful kind of feedback, but it does need to be genuine. The danger is that it usually requires a good deal of discipline to be aware of the behaviors we can reinforce and intentional enough to actually do it thoughtfully. One warning: don't expect any particular response to your positive feedback, and don't be discouraged if it's ignored or even rejected. It will be heard, particularly if it is relatively frequent and natural. And there is even a potential ripple effect that's good. Over time, if we're modeling intentional positive feedback, our teenager may start to use it effectively to enrich his or her relationships with their peers, their siblings, with you, even other adults. That can have a very powerful impact on their ability to form and maintain relationships, and it helps build a positive sense of identity, as well as providing support for stepping outside their comfort zones to build the competencies they need as young adults. In other words, it supports all 3 of the core challenges of being a teenager: identity, relationships, and competencies. One caution: this really has to be natural to you in your relationship with your teenager because there is no recipe or one-size-fits-all approach to this. However, there are some things we can pay close attention to. For example, first, be specific. Highlight particular actions, behaviors, attitudes, or efforts. Second, be timely. Deliver the positive feedback soon after the actions. You can also reflect on previous behaviors. For example, I was thinking about when you fill in the blank last month, and that was surprisingly important. But try to stay as timely as possible. Third, be genuine, because teenagers can sense insincerity extraordinarily well, and then we're out of the game. The positive feedback itself can be very simple. For instance, nice, good, well done. Or when you fill in the blank, whatever they did, that made a difference, or that mattered, or that must have been hard or really challenging. You can add a little detail, but not too much. For example, that behavior really demonstrated thoughtfulness, courage, responsibility, stepping up, thinking of others, etc. You can come up with lots of other examples. And it actually helps to think ahead about what behaviors you would like to see, and also think about how you want to phrase your positive feedback. Thinking ahead not only increases our awareness and discipline, it can also increase our confidence. None of the guidelines for parents stand alone. They reinforce each other. And the following guidelines in particular can reinforce catching them doing things right. For example, guideline number 2, avoid diminishing your teenager. Simply being aware of this guideline helps orient us back toward catching them doing things right. It can also help us catch reactive negative feedback that we really might not want to deliver. Guideline number 4, which is one of my favorites, is keep looking at your teenager with fresh eyes. Like every 6 months, ask in your head, who are you now? That discipline can help us be much more aware of possible opportunities for catching them doing things right. Guideline number 12 is don't over-personalize anger directed at you, being ignored, being criticized, or the inevitable conflicts. If we are too vulnerable and reactive, we can easily end up delivering negative feedback we don't really want to deliver, or just not be aware enough to see opportunities to catch them doing things right. Guideline number 14 is connect with other parents. This guideline actually supports all of the other guidelines because parenting a teenager is a team sport. It's a long, tough journey with lots of unknown. We make mistakes and we have to learn the way. We need each other and we need to learn from each other. We're just better when we're connected. That can come from parent groups of different kinds, a small informal network of other parents, or even 1 or 2 other parents we're connected to. It's worth the effort, and it's deceptively important. And finally, our teenagers are going to be doing a lot of things right. The real challenge is for us to see that and to let them know that we see that.